record crowd, over 85,000 strong, that line the streets of Long Beach, California, ready for that most famous command in racing. The 11th turn, the hairpin that brings them onto shoreline. All eyes on the PPG pace car, which has pulled off into the pit area. The field is in the control of the pole sitter, Unser Jr. Emerson Fittipaldi, the outside. The green flag comes out from Nick Bernoro, and we're racing as Fittipaldi in a drag race with Little Al down to the first turn, a very tight right-hander. Everybody strings out. Danny Sullivan ducks in behind, but it's Little Al that wins the battle to the turn, followed by Fittipaldi, then Sullivan, then Andretti.
Well, Little Al was behind at the start, but he certainly out-accelerated Fittipaldi down in turn 1, and that was really an important move on his part.
Very hard to pass here on this track.
Both of the Penske cars, the two brightly colored machines, number 1, number 7, that's Fittipaldi and Sullivan. They are battling with one another already, as it is Little Al Unser Jr. that begins to pull away. As they come onto shoreline once again and begin to accelerate to their top speed on this course, a long sweeping right-hand curve, very difficult to see around at these speeds.
As you see the two cars of the Penske team, Fittipaldi and Sullivan. Sullivan now coming out and hits
Sullivan touches, and there's Michael. He comes to a stop. Mario comes past, as does Rick Rahal. These two cars, both of them, are they under power? Well, Danny certainly is, but it looks like Michael may have killed the engine. That could end the day, couldn't it, Bobby?
Yes, that'll be very hard for Michael. Even if he gets it started, one of the trucks may give him a pull to get him out of the way, and he may get the engine started, but he's not going to be competitive the rest of the race now.
I was just going to say there is no cooperation in this race between teammates. To be a teammate merely means that he's another rival for you.
That was too early a move. Right here you can see it. He made a last desperate attempt to pass Emerson, and that just didn't work, obviously.
Boy, the Penske team looks so powerful coming in here, and now two teammates, Sullivan and Fittipaldi, tangled on board now as we work our way around this circuit.
That thing is it collected Michael Andretti, and he wasn't really a part of that, Paul.
So it Cranes, the bearded gentleman there, who is now working in conjunction with the Gallus team. You can see that here comes Sullivan as Lyondike got past Boesel, and now it's Sullivan that comes past as well. So that battle continues, and Sullivan's picked up an advantage, as has Lyondike.
Now you could see Sullivan that time. He knew the pass was going to happen. Now, no question about it. His competitors know it when he gets that series, because he set that up way down the straightaway.
Is Boesel, and Eddie Cheever has now closed in as well. So this is a tremendous little battle. Rahal sits in 7th place right now.
He's not working his normal Bobby Rahal Long Beach. He hasn't had much luck here, Paul, but he's definitely holding up the whole deal right here. He knows that, but he's been having trouble all through.
Watch tail Bobby. Bobby comes under braking, slams those brakes, gets there first, gets past Bobby Rahal. Boesel drives Rahal to the outside. This is going to be a tight corner because it narrows down very quickly, but Boesel gets past as well. Now it's Cheever that's sitting right behind, and there's Scotty Brayton in the Amway car.
They got Rahal out of phase right there, and boy, he was history. 2 spots within 2 turns right there. Now, he doesn't like that. He's going to have to pick back up. You can look for him getting some adjustments to his car in the first pit stop.
On board the STP Craco machine, we're on Shoreline Drive now as Bobby Rahal struggling with this car. There's Eddie Cheever sitting to the right, the target car, as they come into the first turn, swinging back into the left. So Eddie Cheever moves around Rahal, and it looks like Scott Brayton, who just washed the front end a little bit, may be the next guy to set Rahal up as a target. This weekend, that there's been a lot of debris, a lot of oil get down on this course, and it's made this course a little slippery for most of these cars.
Well, they're so powerful, they get wheel spin. They do 0 to 100 in 5 seconds.
Now watch the difference as we go along. That's a Penske. That's Emerson Fittipaldi's number 1 car. That's a Penske car, a new model. He's right behind. There's Danny Sullivan behind Rick Mears. Both of those are Penske cars. The comparison is watch them against the Lolas.
Mears, as I said, really must demonstrate his capabilities on this type of course. He is not able to do that right now. In fact, Sullivan has made up all that ground after the spin and is now pressuring Mears, who does not look good right here.
And Sullivan challenges his teammate Rick Mears. Remember what happened the last time the Penske team was involved in a challenge? That's John Andretti in the 2nd Porsche, running just behind Sullivan's number 7 car. The Rick Mears car, the bright yellow machine, out in front as they come to the 1 section of the course where passing surely is possible, but you really have to know the braking to do it. Sullivan moved to the inside kind of to tell Rick that maybe he was going to try there and then didn't. They come around a very tight section. They have to stay in single file here. There's not a really good chance to pass. And now we come up to a key passing area off of this hairpin and onto the fastest section of the track.
And Rick is not fact, if anything, like to show that he's as good a road racer as Sullivan is.
True in one sense. You see Danny Sullivan there, but Sullivan through the years has taught Rick a lot about road racing, just as Rick has taught Danny a lot about ovals. And I think there's cooperation between these two men. We'll see if it manifests itself in Rick allowing Danny to go by.
Keep in mind, Sam, that Rick Mears was one of the finest road races I ever saw before he got his feet hurt. So I think in those days he could have probably taught Danny a little bit.
Ongoing battle for fourth place. Rick Mears, Danny Sullivan. Sullivan fakes to the inside. Now they move into, again, a very difficult section to pass, but we have seen passing in some of these areas, and both of them are running right at the limit. You can see the cars slip around as they continue their pursuit. Remember the top of the order. Unser Jr., Emerson Fittipaldi, then Mario Andretti, and then this battle.
Remember that Mears leads, that here comes Sullivan down the inside at the end, and it's a clean out break. Mears did let him by.
Well, that's where Sullivan telegraphed the pass on the last lap, and this time he moves solidly to the inside and moves past Rick Mears.
That's one of the favorite places to pass. Remember, there's two main places. The front straightaway down Shoreline Drive, and where we saw that pass right there on the back straightaway.
Bobby, why are back on board Al Unser Jr. as Eddie Cheever moves in for a routine stop, in and out very quickly. 10 years in the Formula One. He has raced here before in Formula One. He did say that the course has changed somewhat, and little Al makes that dart for the pits, so he's down to get some service. And the question is, what will Fittipaldi do as little Al comes into the pits right behind him? Emerson Fittipaldi comes in for a stop, so it's a stop between first and second. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
Well, little Al came in one lap earlier than they showed on the board. He's getting fresh rubber and fuel. Everything appears to be routine. He's rolling in under 15 seconds, and they're delighted in this pit.
Oh, and they should be. A spectacular stop for the Gallus team. Only now does Emerson Fittipaldi roll away in 16.5 seconds, and Danny Sullivan.
It's a wide open straightaway. There's Danny. There's a real good close-up. Watch how smooth Danny's wings are, how smooth the car is.
Sullivan runs in fourth place right now behind Mario Andretti. Remember, he had that problem at the early part of the race. You look back from Bobby Rahal's car as Bobby Rahal sweeps across into turn one just in front of Sullivan. Not a battle for position, but a great fight on the track.
A top driver like Sullivan, though, learns to put a mistake out of his mind and behind him. He won't be dwelling on that mistake he made earlier. He'll think about it later, not now.
Boy, did you see him pitch the back end, though, as there comes Sullivan closing up on Rahal. Right now, it is Rahal running back in 8th place. Let's go to Jack Arute.
During that crash, we said that Danny Sullivan was a little concerned about his fuel consumption, but they seem to be doing well. The reason for that was they had turned the boost down just a notch. Just one lap ago, the crew radioed Danny Sullivan go back to full boost. And right now, by our calculations, he's one of the fastest things out there.
Well, he's looking spectacular, and Bobby Rahal is supplying the footage here as we look back live.
Now you can really get a feel.
Whoa, he's right in there.
Oh, he is, Bob. You get a feel how he's got better braking, a lot better braking than Bobby Rahal does. Obviously, that's where Rahal has been giving up a lot today.
Watch as they come down into the first turn now. Sullivan is pitching the car all over the place. The back end really getting loose.
180 miles an hour. Look at that. Now he's just really getting in. He did a pass on him right there, and you saw it from the back how he really came up and went after Rahal.
Flying Pegasus, Danny Sullivan, boy, he is out and beginning to burn this race course up, trying to catch up to the top three. Al Unser, Emerson Fittipaldi, and Mario Andretti.
One of the best shots.
Long Beach, Bobby Rahal now in trouble. A quick spin coming off of the hairpin, and fortunately, everybody was able to get around him. He called for help from these two course marshals to try and get him back down toward the pit area. The pit entrance is only a few feet away.
Well, for a while, Paulie was right in the middle of the groove, and you can see how bad he wanted somebody to get out there and help him get out of the way, because that's the worst place that you can spin.
Here's what happened. He was on board, coming into the corner.
The engine just quit. Probably ran out of fuel. Maybe had a fuel pickup problem, Paul. Look at the tire pick up all the crud from the racetrack. That's really a bad place. That's in the hairpin. It's really the narrow place on the track to have it quit.
But the good news is it's also where they're moving the slowest, so they were able to kind of get the cars under control and not get into the back of Rahal when he just stopped on the course.
And the course mark
way around here as he comes into traffic. Very careful. Moves to the inside. Two cars in trouble. Goodyear and the 19 car of Dean Hall as the course marshals, and it takes a lot of them to run this race, and they do a spectacular job out trying to get the cars clear. Look at them, though, as they have to dodge cars coming through there. Hall gets going again. Nice job by the corner workers here.
Well, they've got to be brave to get out. That's actually in traffic. And, you know, the drivers don't see, as we've mentioned so many times, because of the concrete walls, they don't see much. So that's really brave court marshals to get out and do that.
And they have called, you see those yellow flags. I wondered why they were at the hairpin. It is because they have called for a full course yellow. They're going to send the pace car out. Apparently they feel that Goodyear's car is in an uncomfortable position.
Now look for all the cars to come in right now and get fuel. The fast car should be diving in just as soon as things pack up, Paul.
Well, it's coming in at a time that may not be advantageous to some, as Unser Jr., the leader, heads for the pits under the full course yellow. On board with Mario Andretti. Here comes Fittipaldi in. The second place car is in. Just ahead of him, Unser Jr. is in the pits as well. There's Unser Jr.'s car. They make a stop. He darted into the pits very quickly. Comes out in 16.7 seconds. The second place car, Fittipaldi. They work on his car. The Penske team pushes that machine away. But he is still chasing Little Al as they come out of the pits. Mario Andretti comes in to stop.
Now remember, the idea is first in, first out. When it's an all-course yellow, hey, they had to all come in. There's Emil leaving the pits right now. He's got Rahal between him. He would like to be right up to Little Al's bumper, but it isn't going to happen right now.
And he wants to get around Rahal just as fast as he can. As they come out, they join the course in the first turn. The full course yellow will keep them from passing one another, so that will control the racetrack. There's the Horton safety vehicle out.
Full course yellow came out, obviously, because the track was more than 50% blocked, and that's what Wally Dallenbach would decide.
First full course caution since 1988 here at Long Beach. We'll return with more of ABC's coverage of the Grand Prix after a word from our ABC station. Fittipaldi out alongside Scott Brayton as they come slamming to the turn at Linden at the end of Seaside. Mario Andretti and Danny Sullivan fight one another as they come through the field. Danny takes a wide line coming off the corner as he continues his pursuit. So once again, the top of the field, because of that full course caution, has bunched up a bit and turned this back into a race.
Well, it's going to be a heck of a race. Just look at the cars. Nose to tail all the way around from the front to the back. Now, everybody got their tires cool, got new fuel. Always makes a good race this time.
Bobby, the pit stop story should be over. As Gary Gerald suggested, at least with one crew, they have put everything they can in the car, so now it's totally up to the driver.
Other than the Penske cars, we really haven't heard of anybody having any fuel problems this year. And I remember the aerodynamic package is different on the cars. The tunnels, the ground effects are smaller than last year. The wings, generally speaking, are a little bit bigger, but the gas mileage seems to be the same.
Mario is under terrific pressure here. He's got Danny Sullivan right behind him and Michael Andretti, his son, right behind Danny. So you're starting to see Mario, who had a strong third situation going on before that yellow, now under extreme pressure.
They sweep under the convention center promenade that comes into the front of the center here onto Seaside, and there comes Michael moving out and coming around Lyondike. Boy, look at all of them. Boy, that got crowded there. That should be a single file for corner there. There's Mario as Sullivan comes past.
Mario's the one that came out loser on that. He didn't really think Sullivan was going to come by. He was more concerned with what was up in front, and Sullivan came by him just as he was thinking about that.
They got to that corner and everybody tried it. Now you can see Michael is lined up behind Michael, and so they're together.
Michael behind Mario. I talked about how important emotionally this race is for Mario Andretti, who you see here ahead of his son. The reality is that Michael, you see here, spun early in the game and has now made up all this distance. Really, the verdict is he must be faster right now than his dad. It's being proved right here.
And when he spun, Sam, as we mentioned earlier, he got to start right away. The course marshals, we couldn't see him, but they must have given him a little push start, got him started, because he didn't lose very much. Look at the brake smoking as he comes in there, trying hard to get by his father, but they can't gamble and having a wreck together.
Because Michael is thinking ahead. He's trying to get by Dad in order to resume his battle with Danny Sullivan, who he may very well have a chance to beat.
A battle for fourth place within the Andretti family. That's Scott Brayton that sits just ahead. He is out a little bit in the way. Michael tries to find an advantage as they work their way inside Willie Ribbs.
Does Mario now say, I understand the situation, I'm going to let my son by to go on and battle with and Danny Sullivan? The answer, no. I think they're going to just fight amongst themselves, and it's going to be resolved by the best man.
Dangerous always to wonder what might have been, but at the speed Michael has shown coming back up from 23rd now to run in 5th place, one wonders if he'd never had that problem, which really wasn't caused by him, where he would be relative to the leader, Unser Jr. Here comes Michael slamming down to the inside, but it is Mario that comes across the front and maintains the position. The battle continues for 4th place. Michael and Mario Andretti, and conflict once again on this very, very tight circuit where passing is all but impossible. Bobby Unser, if there is a pass, where will they try?
Well, most likely, Little Al's carrying a little bit more rear wing than Embo is.
Fittipaldi.
Most likely, it's going to be at the end of the front straightaway, which is what we're coming to right now. Now, he's there. Let's see if he's going to try a pass.
That was the reaction in the Fittipaldi pits when they realized that Embo was right up on the back end of Little Al for the first time.
The emotional leadership of the Penske team has now shifted, to Emerson Fittipaldi, who just wanted to show Little Al that he was there. Realized that just 2 weeks ago, there's Shelley Unser. 2 weeks ago, Teresa Fittipaldi at Phoenix. It was Rick Mears who led the Penske team. Now that has shifted, and it was, of course, Emerson who last year rivaled.
Traffic just ahead, but fortunately Hero moves out of the way, though Little Al does snap a brake on pretty hard, and Fittipaldi closes in once again.
I think what's happened is Little Al's tired, maybe not quite as good a shape as Embo's are right now. You can watch when he goes through the corners, the tight corners, he's pushing a little bit, but when he comes off the turns, the rear end's snapping out a little bit on Little Al's. That means his tires are down a little bit, Paul.
Tremendous fight at the front of the field. Let's just watch it. 1st and 2nd, Unser Jr., Emerson Fittipaldi. Let's get this update from Gary Gerald. Gary?
Well, just to back up what Bobby was asking about with the tire situation for Little Al, Rick Gallis says there is no tire problem. He said, just look at the time and the speed we're running. We're running almost as fast as people qualified. We've got one heck of a race. Those are Gallis's words. All he can do is nervously watch from the wall, Paul.
11 laps to go. Willie T. Ribbs just wobbled coming down the front stretch and has pulled off the course, so he is out of the race. We continue to watch the fight for the lead. Michael tries to catch Danny.
In this case, it's a Penske car under attack.
Ever popular Lolas.
While one might consider that Little Al's run is spectacular, consider the run of the Kmart car number 3 of Michael Andretti. He was back as far as 23rd at one point, and now he is up contesting for 3rd place.
This has been a beautifully driven race among the leaders.
All of the teams did a lot of testing at West Palm Beach, Florida, to prepare themselves specifically for this race. They felt the tracks were similar.
This should give us an idea about what we're going to see at the upcoming Indianapolis race. Lola gives the Penske. Looks like it's going to be pretty close this year, Paul.
Fight for the lead, fight here for 3rd. Michael, right down the exhaust pipe of Danny Sullivan, tries him to the inside, but Danny sweeps across. Flag signifying one more lap to go as he pulls a bit away from Emerson Fittipaldi on the last lap now. 2 battles on the course as Michael Andretti tries to catch Danny Sullivan for 3rd.
Little Al has just a little bit of room ahead of Fittipaldi now. He probably feels a little bit better for this last lap, Paul.
The real fight develops here for 3rd place as Unser Jr. has separated by 2.2 seconds from Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi simply has not been able to catch him, but Michael Andretti has been able to catch Danny Sullivan in the number 7 car. The final lap. Michael climbs up on the back end of Danny Sullivan. Sullivan almost loses the back end. They work their way towards Seaside now.
They're both trying so hard, it's unbelievable.
And here is Unser Jr. protected now by the traffic car of Didier Tays as he comes to the 11th and final turn. And it looks like he's going to manage it again. He comes carefully off of the hairpin. And Unser Jr. scores 3 in a